close your eyes for just 4 minutes. Step out of the illusion of lack and into the certainty of fulfillment. The mind is not bound by time. In an instant, it can transport you into a reality where your desire already exists. Right now, take a deep breath and relax. Feel yourself sinking into a state of calm knowing. Nothing outside of you needs to change for your desire to be real. It is real the moment you claim it. Now, bring to mind that which you seek. Do not look at it as something distant. See it, touch it, hear it. Engage all your senses. More importantly, feel it. How would it feel if you already had it? Let that feeling consume you. Do not wish. Do not beg. Simply assume. Let the joy, relief, and excitement settle in as though it is already yours. Because it is, in this moment, it is done. Hold that feeling. Let it take root in your being. This is not a game of repetition or struggle. It takes only a few moments of absolute conviction to rewrite the script of your life. Release it. Let go of the need to force anything. Walk in the world as though your manifestation is inevitable, because it is. Your only job now is to remain in the knowing. Manifestation is not about time, it is about certainty. The moment you assume, the moment you feel, the moment you believe, it is done. The mind is the master architect of reality, shaping the world around you with the impressions you hold within. There is no separation between what you imagine and what you experience. Your imagination is not a fleeting daydream, but the very force that molds your existence. Everything that has ever come into being first existed as an idea, a vision within the unseen before it took form in the physical. When you grasp the full power of this truth, you begin to understand that nothing is beyond your reach. For what you consistently imagine and believe to be true must find its way into your external world. Look at the world around you. Every structure, invention, and achievement was once a mere thought, nurtured in the unseen realm of imagination. The chair you sit on, the device you hold in your hands, the life you live today, all of it began as an idea in someone's mind before it materialized. If this is true for the external world, then it must also be true for the personal reality you experience. Your circumstances, relationships, and financial state are all a reflection of the assumptions you have accepted as fact, whether consciously or unconsciously. You are never at the mercy of the world. You are its creator. The process of creation is simple. What you consistently entertain in your mind will harden into fact. This is not about fleeting thoughts or passing desires, but about what you accept as true in your imagination. If you believe yourself to be prosperous, life will reorganize itself to reflect that belief. If you see yourself as unloved, that assumption will shape your relationships. The world has no choice but to mirror the contents of your inner state. The greatest error one can make is to mistake the outer world for an independent force that dictates circumstances. The truth is the opposite. The outer world is an echo of the inner. If you do not like what you see, do not fight the reflection. Change the cause. Alter your assumptions, and reality will conform. This is why struggle is unnecessary. When you truly understand that the world is only responding to your inner convictions, you stop trying to manipulate effects and instead focus on shifting your state of mind. The moment you close your eyes and imagine yourself in possession of your desire, you have already created it. It exists. The unseen is just as real as the seen. And what determines whether it moves into your physical experience is your ability to remain faithful to that vision. The mistake many make is in allowing the physical senses to dictate their beliefs. They look at their current reality, see lack, and reinforce that state by accepting it as final. But the wise understand that what is seen is merely the shadow of past thoughts. If you wish to change your life, you must stop reacting to appearances and begin living in the reality of your imagination. Do not wait for external proof before you believe. That is the way of the world, not the way of creation. The world tells you to work hard, to struggle, to hope for the best. But those who understand the power of imagination know that the only work required is the work of belief. If you can assume that what you desire is already yours, and if you can persist in that assumption, regardless of what the senses show you, reality must shift to reflect it. It is law. The key is to feel your desire as real. Imagination is not a vague or passive act. It is a living experience. When you imagine, you must engage your senses. If you desire wealth, do not simply think about it. Step into the scene in your mind where you are already wealthy. Feel the weight of abundance. Hear the sounds of a life free from financial worry. Touch the objects that signify success. Lose yourself in the experience until it feels as real as your waking life. When you do this with full conviction, you are planting the seed, and that seed must bear fruit. Doubt is the only barrier. The moment you question whether your imagination is real, you separate yourself from your creation. The mind will always seek confirmation through the senses, but you must discipline yourself to trust the unseen. If you have assumed something to be true, then it is. Walk in that knowing. Do not look for signs. Live in the end result. Your role is not to figure out the how. That is the work of the unseen forces that govern reality. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to your vision. The great secret is that there is no delay except the one you impose through disbelief. Time is not a factor in manifestation. Belief is. The moment you fully accept your desire as real, the bridge of events will unfold to bring it into physical form. Sometimes it will appear effortlessly, and other times it will come through a series of natural events. But one thing is certain, it must come. Reality has no choice but to shape itself according to your dominant assumption. When you wake up each day, remind yourself that you are not bound by circumstances. You are the creator, the operant power. Nothing exists outside of you that was not first created within. The world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. And the moment you take full responsibility for that truth, you free yourself from limitation. Begin now. Close your eyes and see yourself as the person you wish to be, not as a distant hope, but as a present reality. Feel it, accept it, live in it. And as surely as the sun rises, the world will rearrange itself to reflect the new truth you have claimed. The moment you claim your desire as real in your imagination, it exists. The unseen is just as real as the seen, and what determines whether it moves into your physical experience is your ability to feel it as done. This is the great secret to manifestation, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You are not waiting for something to happen in the future. You are stepping into the reality where it already is. This is not a mere trick of the mind, but a fundamental law of creation. Most people live in a constant state of wanting, wishing, and waiting. They look at their current circumstances, see lack, and reinforce it by continuously affirming what is missing. They beg, they hope, and they try, but they do not assume. And so their reality remains unchanged, reflecting only their inner state of longing rather than possession. The shift happens the moment you stop waiting for external proof and begin living in the assumption that your desire is already yours. Imagine for a moment that you have what you seek. Not that you will have it someday, not that it is coming, but that it is already here. How would you feel? Would there be relief, excitement, gratitude? Would you walk with a quiet confidence knowing that it is done? This feeling is the key. If you can fully step into the emotional state of already having your desire, you collapse the illusion of separation between you and it. The moment you make this shift, reality begins to conform. Feeling it as done does not mean forcing emotions or pretending to be happy when you are not. It is not about repeating empty affirmations without belief. It is about cultivating a deep inner knowing. When you wake up in the morning, do you doubt that the sun will rise? No. You do not need to see it to believe it, because you already know it is a certainty. This is the level of conviction you must develop with your desires. When you know that something is already yours, there is no more struggle. There is no more seeking, no more questioning. You simply embody the state of being the person who has what they want. Your imagination is the bridge to this state. If you desire wealth, do not think of wealth as something outside of you. Step into the experience. In your mind's eye, feel the weight of financial freedom, the ease, the security. What does your life look like? How do you carry yourself? What do you do differently now that you are already abundant? Do not merely observe yourself as an outsider. Be fully immersed in the scene. If it were truly happening now, what emotions would rise within you? Let them take over. Let them become your new natural state. Doubt is the only thing that delays manifestation. The moment you question whether it is working, you step out of the state of fulfillment and back into the state of waiting. You must remain unwavering, even if the outer world shows no signs of change. You do not react. You do not let appearances shake your conviction, because you know that what is real in your imagination must become real in your life. Reality is always catching up to your inner world, not the other way around. Many people ask how long it takes for a desire to manifest, but time is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is your ability to feel it as done. Some things appear instantly, while others unfold through a natural bridge of events. But the moment you truly assume, the process is set in motion. There is no need to force anything. Your only job is to persist in the feeling of already having it. If you waver, return to your imagination and realign with the feeling of fulfillment. You must also free yourself from the need to control how it happens. The mind, conditioned by the world, wants to micromanage every detail, but this only creates resistance. If you had what you wanted, you would not be concerned with the process. You would simply enjoy it. The more you let go of attachment to the method, the faster your desire materializes. Trust that the unseen forces are working in perfect order to bring it into. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you begin to act differently. You carry yourself with confidence, you speak from a place of knowing, and you make decisions that align with your new state. This is not forced. It happens naturally because your inner world has shifted. If you believe yourself to be successful, you will think and behave as a successful person does. If you believe yourself to be loved, you will carry yourself with the security of someone who knows they are cherished. This is why change begins within, not outside. The world does not give you what you want. It gives you who you are. Think of a time when something you desired eventually became yours. Before it happened, there was likely a moment when you just knew it was inevitable. Perhaps you stopped worrying about it, or perhaps you felt at peace as if it were already yours, and soon after it came to pass. This is how manifestation works. The moment you relax into certainty, what you desire moves toward you. You do not need years of practice or special techniques. You do not need external validation. You only need to assume, feel, and persist. Right now, in this moment, claim your desire is done. Step into the feeling fully. Let it become your dominant state. And as surely as night turns to day, your world will rearrange itself to match. There is a power greater than all the noise, all the struggle, and all the external searching. It is the power of stillness. In just a few moments of deep relaxation, you can dissolve the illusions that keep you bound to the old and step fully into the reality of your choosing. The world outside is nothing but a reflection of what you accept within. Most people spend their days reacting to circumstances, to other people, to their own fears and doubts. They believe that if they work harder, think more, or do more, they will somehow force change. But creation does not happen through effort, it happens through alignment. And alignment is only found in stillness. When you relax completely, when you silence the chatter of the mind, you enter the state where true transformation occurs. Stillness is not simply the absence of noise, it is the presence of clarity. It is the moment when you no longer allow the outside world to dictate your inner state. In stillness, you become the master of your reality. You are no longer a victim of circumstances, no longer a prisoner to what is. Instead, you step into the awareness that you are the creator. Everything you seek is already within you. But you cannot hear this truth if your mind is filled with doubt, fear, or distraction. There is no struggle in stillness. There is no need to convince yourself of anything or force change. The moment you quiet your mind and sink deeply into relaxation, you open the doorway to infinite possibility. It is here, in this silence, that you can reprogram your reality. The subconscious mind is most impressionable when the body is at ease, when the mind is no longer racing with thoughts of past and future. This is why deep relaxation is so powerful. It allows you to bypass the limitations of the conscious mind and plant new seeds directly into the soil of creation. If you desire change, do not chase it. Instead, sit in stillness and allow it to be. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let every muscle in your body relax. Feel yourself letting go of effort, letting go of resistance. In this moment, nothing else exists but your awareness. The past is gone, the future does not yet exist. There is only now, and in this now you are free. As you relax deeper, begin to see yourself already living the life you desire. Do not think of it as something far away or something you must strive for. See it as already done. Feel it as your present reality. If you desire success, step into the feeling of already being successful. If you desire love, immerse yourself in the feeling of already being deeply loved. Do not wait for the world to give it to you. Give it to yourself now. Your mind may try to resist at first. It may tell you that this is not real, that nothing is changing. Ignore it. The conscious mind is conditioned to believe only what it can see, but the truth is that reality begins in the unseen. What you accept in stillness must eventually be reflected in the world around you. This is law. The reason most people struggle to manifest their desires is that they are too focused on the outer world. They react to what is rather than creating what will be. But the secret is this: the world does not change first, you do. And the fastest way to change is through stillness, through deep, unwavering awareness of your own creative power. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Soon you will find that you no longer react to circumstances the way you once did. You will not feel the need to chase, to struggle, to fight against what is. Instead, you will remain centered in the knowing that everything you desire is already yours. When you master stillness, you master creation. There is nothing you must do, no steps you must take. Simply be, simply know. Sit in silence and feel the truth of your being. Feel the reality of your desire already fulfilled. Do not look for proof, be the proof. Carry this stillness with you throughout your day. When the world tries to pull you back into doubt, return to your center. Remember who you are. It is not time or effort that changes reality. It is alignment. And alignment is found in stillness. Let the world be loud. Let circumstances come and go, but remain unmoved. Remain at peace, knowing that your vision is more real than anything outside of you, and soon the world will have no choice but to reflect back the truth you have claimed in silence. There is no such thing as waiting when it comes to creation. The moment you accept something as real in your mind, it is done. Time is not what you have been taught. It is not a rigid path you must walk step by step. It is an illusion, a construct of the mind that makes things appear as though they unfold in sequence. But in truth, everything that ever was and ever will be already exists. There is only now. The delay you experience between thought and reality is not because time must pass. It is because you have not yet fully accepted the new reality as true. Most people believe they are separate from their desires, that what they want is somewhere out there in the future waiting to be attained. But the moment you define something as in the future, you push it away. You create a gap between yourself and that which you seek. True manifestation is not about bringing something into being. It is about shifting your awareness to the version of you that already has it. It is not a process of waiting, but of aligning. If you desire wealth, do not think of it as something you will achieve one day. Step into the awareness of wealth now. If you desire love, Do not imagine it as something that will come to you eventually. Feel it as yours now. The only thing keeping you from experiencing it is the illusion that it is distant. In reality, all states exist simultaneously. There are infinite versions of you. One who has already received what you desire and one who still longs for it. The question is, which one are you identifying with? When you look at your current circumstances and believe they define you, you stay locked in the present version of yourself. You think, I am not there yet, and so reality reflects that belief. But the moment you accept a new state of being, the moment you say, it is already mine, you shift. And when you shift internally, the outer world must follow. It is law. It may seem as though time is required for things to change, but time is merely a tool of perception. If you look for proof in the outer world before you believe, you will always be waiting. But if you accept something as real before you see it, reality will bend to match your conviction. You are not bound by time unless you believe you are. The strongest proof of this is in your own experience. Think back to moments in your life when something seemed to come out of nowhere, when what you wanted suddenly appeared without explanation. This was not coincidence, it was a shift. There is no force outside of you deciding when you receive what you desire. You are not at the mercy of divine timing, fate, or luck. You are the operant power. And the moment you claim something as yours, without hesitation, the wheels begin to turn. But here is where most falter. They claim something in one breath and doubt it in the next. They say, I know it's mine, but then look at their circumstances and question. They check the clock, wondering when it will arrive. This back and forth delays the manifestation, not because time is needed, but because certainty is. The moment you truly accept something as yours, without needing to see proof, it exists for you. Let go of the idea that things take time. Instead of thinking in terms of waiting, think in terms of shifting. If you were already the person who has what you want, how would you think? How would you feel? How would you move through the world? Assume that version of yourself now. Do not play small. Do not entertain doubts. If you say, I am abundant, do not contradict yourself by worrying about lack. If you say, I am loved, do not let loneliness convince you otherwise. The moment you waver, you reinforce the old reality. Time is not required. Change happens the moment you accept it internally. And the faster you embody the feeling of already having it, the faster it appears in your experience. But it is not about speed. It is about certainty. The world reflects back to you what you know to be true, not what you hope for, not what you wish for, but what you claim. Understand this deeply. You are not moving toward your desires. Your desires already exist. The only thing you are moving is your awareness. And the moment you shift, the world will shift to meet you. Do not wait. Do not look to the outside for confirmation. Close your eyes. Accept it as done. And live from that knowing. Time will no longer be a barrier because you will understand it was never real to begin with. Doubt is the only thing standing between you and your manifestation. It is not circumstance, it is not lack, it is not effort. It is the resistance of your own mind. You do not need to fight for what is already yours. You do not need to struggle to bring it into being. The moment you release doubt, the moment you let go of the questions of how and when, it is done. The mind is conditioned to seek explanations. It wants to know the exact process, the exact steps, the exact timeline. It clings to logic and reason, believing that if something is not seen, it does not exist. But manifestation is not a process of logic. It is a process of knowing. The moment you ask, how will this happen, or when will it come, you introduce resistance. You step out of faith and into uncertainty. And in that moment, you delay what is already yours. There is nothing to question. There is nothing to figure out. The moment you have accepted something in your imagination, it exists. And if it exists, there is no need to wonder if it will come. If you plant a seed in the soil, do you dig it up every day to check if it is growing? No. You know that the moment you placed it in the earth, nature took over. You trust that the process is unfolding, even if you cannot see it. The same is true for your desires. The moment you claim something as yours, the unseen forces begin moving in ways beyond your comprehension. But if you doubt, if you question, if you try to force it, you interfere with the natural flow. Letting go of doubt does not mean suppressing it or pretending it is not there. It means recognizing it for what it is, a product of past conditioning, and choosing not to engage with it. It means standing firm in your conviction even when your senses show you something different. This is where most falter. They affirm something as true but then look to the outer world for proof. And when they do not see it immediately, they question. But manifestation is not about seeing first. It is about believing first. You cannot be both the creator and the skeptic. You must choose. Either you believe in the power of your assumption or you remain bound by doubt. The ones who manifest quickly are not the ones who work harder or analyze more. They are the ones who trust. They know that the moment they have seen it in their mind, it is done. They do not ask how the bridge of events will unfold. They do not question the means by which it will come. They rest in the certainty that it is already theirs, and they move forward with that knowing. The universe does not operate on hesitation. It responds to clarity, to certainty, to unwavering belief. If you stand at the edge of a river and say, "I want to cross," but then hesitate, debating whether the water is too deep or the current too strong, you will never move. But if you step forward in confidence, the path will appear. The same is true for your desires. If you want something but constantly question its arrival, you are standing still. You are delaying what has already been set in motion. The only way to receive is to trust, to surrender the need for control, to understand that your desires are not random. They were placed within you for a reason. And if they were placed within you, it means the fulfillment of them is already possible. But you must align with that reality, not resist it. Every time you doubt, you push it away. Every time you question, you introduce delay. But the moment you let go, the moment you say it is done and truly believe it, the path clears. Do not ask, "When will it come?" That is the question of someone who does not yet believe. Do not ask, "How will it happen?" That is the question of someone who does not trust the unseen. Instead, live from the end. Walk as if it is already yours. Think as if it is already done. Let go of every need to question or prove, because the moment you no longer need proof, you will have it. Understand this deeply. Doubt is not keeping you safe. It is keeping you stuck. You do not need to analyze or figure things out. You do not need to force or beg or struggle. You simply need to assume, accept, and trust. If you can do that, if you can release every ounce of resistance and stand firm in the knowing that your desire is already yours, there will be no delay. The outer world must conform. It is law. Let go. Let go of the timeline. Let go of the need for signs. Let go of the urge to check if it is working. It is working. It has already worked. You simply need to stop interfering. Be still, be certain, and watch as everything unfolds exactly as it was meant to, in perfect, effortless alignment. Do not seek, do not wish, become. This is the essence of manifestation. The moment you place your desire outside of yourself, as something to be attained in the future, you create separation. You confirm to yourself that it is not yet yours, and in doing so, you push it further away. But when you embody the state of already having, when you assume the role of the person who possesses the thing you seek, the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. Reality is not fixed. It is not something you must chase or struggle to mold into shape. It is fluid, responding to the assumptions you hold within. And when you hold the assumption that your desire is already a fact, reality conforms. But this requires a shift, not in the world outside, but in your own mind. You must stop looking for evidence, stop checking for progress, stop wondering when it will appear. Instead, You must walk as though it is already done. You must think, feel, and act as though you are already living in the fulfillment of your desire. Most people approach manifestation with a sense of longing. They wish for what they want. They hope. They are firm, but in the back of their minds there is still a question. Will it happen? When will it come? But the one who truly understands does not hope. They do not wish. They simply know. They do not place their desire outside of themselves. They do not say, I want this. Instead, they say, it is mine. And because they claim it as theirs, it must be so. If you wish to be wealthy, do not seek wealth. Instead, become the person who already is. How does this person think? How do they move through the world? What decisions do they make? If you wish to be loved, do not look for love outside of yourself. Instead, embody the state of already being deeply loved. Feel the certainty of it within you. If you wish for success, do not wait for proof that you are successful. Instead, carry yourself as someone who already is. Your assumption is the only thing that matters, because the world must reflect what you assume to be true. This is not about pretending or forcing yourself into delusion. It is about knowing. The same way you do not need to convince yourself of your own name, you do not need to convince yourself of your manifestation. It is simply a fact. And once something is a fact in your inner world, it must become a fact in the outer. Most people struggle with this because they are ruled by their senses. They look at what is and allow it to dictate what they believe. But reality does not work that way. What you see now is simply the result of past assumptions. If you want to change what appears before you, you must first change what you assume to be true. This requires discipline. It requires the ability to ignore appearances and hold firm in your knowing, even when the outer world tells you otherwise. If you live from the end, there is no room for doubt. There is no need to question. There is no waiting. Because the moment you have assumed something as real within, it already exists. You are not manifesting something into being. You are aligning with what is already yours. The person who succeeds in manifestation does not spend their time asking for their desire to appear. They do not wait for signs or reassurance. They move as if it is done. They do not beg for love. They know they are already loved. They do not search for wealth. They operate as though wealth is already their reality. This does not mean reckless spending or forced actions. It means embodying the mindset, the confidence, and the certainty of already having. The moment you fully step into this state, the world shifts to match it. People, events, and circumstances rearrange themselves in ways beyond your understanding. Opportunities appear, doors open, and what once seemed impossible unfolds effortlessly. But none of this can happen if you continue to hold on to the mindset of wanting. Wanting only creates more wanting. Seeking only creates more seeking. But being fully and completely creates reality. If you could step into a future version of yourself, the one who already has everything you desire, how would you feel? How would you carry yourself? How would you speak? If you can answer this, you already know how to manifest, because that version of you is not in the future, it exists now. And the moment you claim it, the moment you become it in thought and feeling, the world will shift to match. Do not wait. Do not look outside yourself for proof. Do not question, simply assume. Assume it is already done. Assume you are already the person you wish to be, and from that state, let the world rearrange itself to reflect your knowing. It cannot do otherwise. It is law. Manifestation is not about waiting, wishing, or hoping. It is about becoming. The moment you assume your desire is already fulfilled, the world must reflect it. Your imagination creates reality. And when you feel it as done, when you release doubt, when you exist in stillness and recognize that time is an illusion, you step into the version of yourself who already has what you seek. You are not here to chase or struggle. You are here to be. And the moment you embody the end result, the world has no choice but to conform. So stop seeking, stop questioning, simply know. Live from the end, move with certainty, and allow the unseen to become seen. What you desire is already yours the moment you claim it. Thank you. You have been told all your life to go out and look for work, to struggle, to prove yourself, to compete. But what if I told you that this is not your role? What if I told you that from this moment forward, it is no longer your job to seek, but to receive? God has spoken, and His word is clear. Do not look for work. It is now God's duty to provide. Does this mean you sit idly and wait? No. It means you shift your awareness to a higher understanding. The world outside is merely a reflection of the world within. Your task is not to run after opportunity. It is to embody the one who already has it. See yourself as already employed, already successful, already in the place you desire. Feel the security, the ease, the abundance. This feeling is your true work. This is the seed. The old way tells you that effort alone brings success, but effort without alignment is labor in vain. When you align yourself with the truth that God has already finished the work, you no longer beg for opportunities. They are drawn to you effortlessly. Do not say, I hope I find work. Say it is already done. Do not wake up worrying about your future. Wake up in gratitude that it is unfolding perfectly. The world will ask, how can you not worry? How can you not chase? But you will know the secret. God moves through your state of being, not your struggle. The moment you become the person who already has everything must come to you. So from this day forward, stop searching, stop striving, stop doubting. Walk in faith, knowing that God has already made the way, the work, the opportunity, the provision. It is no longer your duty to seek. It is God's duty to deliver. The world has conditioned you to believe that success comes through effort, that you must chase after opportunities, prove yourself, and tirelessly work to earn your place. From childhood, you were taught that if you want something, you must struggle for it, that nothing in life comes easily. But what if I told you that this is a false teaching? What if I told you that the things you seek are already seeking you? That the work you believe you must hunt down is in truth drawn to you by your very state of being? There is a great misunderstanding in the world. The belief that you are the doer, that through sheer force of will, through endless action, you create your success. But the truth is far deeper than that. You do not make things happen through you. Every event, every opportunity, every door that opens in your life is not a result of your external struggle, but a reflection of your internal state. When you realize this, you will cease the exhausting search for work, for success, for provision, and you will step into the knowing that all things are already aligned for you. Consider the air you breathe. Do you struggle to inhale? Do you chase after oxygen, running from place to place to ensure you get enough? No. The air is already present. It moves through you naturally, effortlessly. So too does every opportunity in your life. Work is not something you must pursue. It is something that aligns with you when you become the person who already has it. When you believe you must fight for what is yours, you create resistance. You send out the message that what you desire is separate from you, that it is out there somewhere just beyond your reach. This belief keeps it away from you. But when you shift your awareness, when you accept that all things are already provided, you will see that opportunities, work, money, and success naturally gravitate toward you. You are not meant to beg the world for what is already yours. You are meant to receive. Think about the people who seem to have everything effortlessly. Have you ever wondered why some individuals never struggle to find work, why they always seem to be in the right place at the right time? It is not luck. It is not chance. It is alignment. They have assumed the state of already having, and because of that, the world must conform to that assumption. You see, the world does not bring you what you want, it brings you what you are. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, if you identify as someone who must fight for everything, then struggle is what will define your life. But the moment you step into the awareness that everything flows to you, that you are a magnet for all that is good, your reality shifts. Many people misunderstand this truth. They think they must simply sit and do nothing, waiting for things to appear. But this is not about inaction, it is about inspired action. When you align yourself with the state of already having, the right actions will flow through you naturally. You will not act out of fear, desperation, or lack. You will act with confidence, certainty, and peace. And in doing so, you will move effortlessly into the reality that is already yours. If you chase something, you are declaring that it is not yet yours. But when you embody the state of already having, it cannot help but come to you. Imagine two people looking for work. One wakes up anxious, feeling the weight of uncertainty, doubting whether they will ever find the right job. They search frantically, sending applications with fear in their heart, checking their phone every minute, worried that no one will respond. The other person, however, wakes up in a state of knowing. They do not search in desperation. They move through the day with calm assurance, already feeling the security of having what they desire. Their actions are not forced. They are inspired, and because of this, the right opportunity is drawn to them with ease. You must understand that work is not something you find, it is something that finds you when you become the person who already has it. This is the great secret. The outer world is merely a reflection of your inner world. If you believe you must strive, you will always be striving. If you believe you must chase, you will always be chasing. But the moment you believe that all things are already aligned for you, that God has already provided, that you do not need to search but only to receive, that is the moment everything changes. You were not placed on this earth to labor in fear, to struggle endlessly, to exhaust yourself chasing things that were already meant for you. You were placed here to embody abundance, to move through life with confidence, knowing that what is yours can never be lost. What must you do now? You must stop. Stop searching in desperation, stop worrying, stop doubting. Instead, close your eyes and feel the reality of already having. Walk through your day as the person who is already provided for. Move with assurance, speak with confidence, and trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. This is not mere belief, it is law. The moment you shift your state, the world must shift to match it. So do not look for work. Do not chase opportunities. Simply align yourself with the knowing that it is already done, and watch as everything you once thought you had to fight for flows effortlessly into your life. The desires that arise within you are not mere fantasies, nor are they random thoughts that come and go without meaning. They are divine whispers, signals from the unseen realm, guiding you toward the life that has already been prepared for you. Yet so many misunderstand their desires, seeing them as something distant, something they must chase, something they must earn. This is the great illusion, the belief that what you long for is separate from you, when in truth, it has always been yours. You do not create your desires. They are planted within you by something far greater. They are not accidental. They are intentional. Every longing that stirs within you, every dream that calls to you, is a reflection of what is already done in the unseen world. It is not your job to fight for it, to struggle to make it happen. Your only task is to accept it as already yours. But what does this mean? How can something be yours if you do not yet see it? This is where most people falter. They believe only in what they can touch, in what they can verify with their senses. They look at their current reality and decide that it is the only truth. But reality is not fixed, it is fluid. It is shaped by your consciousness, molded by your inner state. The moment you understand this, you will stop doubting your desires and start embracing them as divine truth. Consider this. When you plant a seed in the ground, do you dig it up every day to check if it is growing? No. You trust that beneath the soil, unseen to the eye, the process has already begun. You water it, you nurture it, and you wait in faith, knowing that soon it will break through the surface. This is exactly how desire works. The moment it is conceived in your heart, it is already growing in the unseen realm. You do not need to force it into existence. You only need to trust that it is unfolding perfectly. So many live in a constant state of doubt. They question whether their desires are even possible, whether they are worthy of them, whether they should pursue something more realistic. But who placed that desire within you? Why do you think it will not come to pass? The very fact that you can long for something means that it is already prepared for you. The problem is not with the desire, it is with your resistance to believing it is done. Think of the things you have already manifested in your life. The job you once dreamed of, the home you once imagined, the relationships that seemed impossible. At one point, these were mere thoughts in your mind, but they became real, not through struggle, but through the alignment of your inner world with the outer world. You did not chase them into existence. You accepted them as yours before they appeared. This is how creation works. You do not need to beg for what is already yours. You do not need to force what is already set in motion. You only need to align yourself with the truth that your desires are divine, that they are already fulfilled, and that your only task is to step into the reality where they exist. Most people delay their own manifestations because they continue to dwell in the state of wanting. To want something is to acknowledge that you do not yet have it. And as long as you remain in the state of lack, your reality will continue to reflect that lack. But the moment you shift into the state of already having, everything must rearrange itself to match that assumption. You have been taught that life is about effort, about struggle, about proving yourself worthy. But who told you this? Who made you believe that your desires are something to be earned? They are not rewards for hard work. They are divine instructions, already fulfilled. Your belief in their reality is what brings them into form. So stop seeking, stop chasing, stop doubting. Look at your desires with new eyes. See them not as something you must strive for, but as something that is calling you forward, something that is already waiting for you in the unseen. Instead of asking, "How do I get there?" ask yourself, "What would it feel like to already be there?" This shift in perspective changes everything. The world around you is not as rigid as you think. It is fluid, responding to your inner state, shaping itself according to your beliefs. If you believe your desires are distant, they will remain distant. If you believe they are already yours, they will unfold naturally, effortlessly. This is not a philosophy, it is law. The law that governs creation, the law that determines what manifests in your life. When you desire something, you are not making a request. You are receiving a preview of what is already yours. The only question is whether you will accept it or continue to resist it with doubt and fear. From this moment on, begin to treat your desires differently. Stop questioning whether they are possible. Stop worrying about when they will arrive. Instead, step into the state of already having. Live in the feeling of fulfillment. Walk through your day with the confidence that what you seek is already seeking you. Your desires are not separate from you. They are the voice of God, calling you to remember what is already done. Listen, trust, receive, and watch as everything falls perfectly into place. The world teaches you to strive, to labor, and to seek tirelessly for what you desire. You have been told that in order to succeed, you must search for opportunities, prove your worth, and work endlessly to secure what is already yours in the unseen. But the truth is quite the opposite. What if you stopped searching and instead stepped into the reality of already having? What if, instead of looking for work, you assumed the feeling of already being in the position you desire? Most people believe they must act first in order to receive. They think they must go out and make things happen through effort and force. But the great secret is that reality does not respond to effort alone. It responds to state of being. You do not attract what you want, You attract what you are, and what you are is determined by the state you assume to be true. If you believe yourself to be someone searching for work, needing opportunities, and lacking what you desire, then the world will reflect this back to you. But the moment you step into the consciousness of already being exactly where you wish to be, everything shifts. To live in the end means to embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled, to move as though it is already done. It is not about daydreaming or wishing, it is about knowing. It is about carrying yourself as the person who already possesses the thing you seek. When you do this, the world has no choice but to conform to your assumption. Imagine for a moment that you have already received what you desire. How would you feel? How would you carry yourself? What would your daily routine look like? What thoughts would fill your mind? You must begin to live from this place now. If you are looking for work, do not place yourself in the state of looking. Instead, place yourself in the state of already having the ideal job, already being sought after, already being in demand. Move through your day as if you are already established, as if the world is responding to you in the way you desire. This is not pretending, it is creating, it is shaping reality from the inside out. The moment you truly accept this as your state of being, the world begins to shift. People will be drawn to you in ways you could never predict. Opportunities will arise effortlessly. The phone will ring, the offer will come, not because you were out searching, but because you aligned yourself with the outcome and let it come to you. This is where many falter. They assume for a moment, but then they let doubt creep in. They look at their current reality and begin to question. They wonder if they are doing enough, if they should be working harder, if they are being realistic. But faith does not waver. Faith does not check for evidence. Faith knows. And when you know that something is already yours, you do not worry about how it will come. You simply allow it to unfold. Think of a time in your life when something you desired came to you effortlessly. Perhaps it was a job, a relationship, an opportunity. It seemed to happen in a way you could not have planned, as if the pieces fell into place without effort. This is the power of assumption. When you live in the end, you bypass struggle. You step into a flow where things happen naturally, not through force, but through alignment. But alignment requires discipline. You must train yourself to dwell in the state of already having. If you allow yourself to fall back into doubt, to return to the state of lack, then you will continue to manifest more of the same. The world cannot give you what you do not believe yourself to already possess. So begin now. Close your eyes and feel the reality of your wish fulfilled. Walk through your day as if everything is already set in motion. Carry yourself with the confidence of one who is already chosen, already valued, already in the perfect position. Speak from this place. Act from this place. Think from this place. When your mind tries to pull you back into old patterns of worry, remind yourself, it is already done. And then, watch as the world rearranges itself. The opportunities you once searched for will begin to search for you. The job you thought you had to fight for will be drawn to you effortlessly. The people who once overlooked you will suddenly recognize your worth, not because you struggled, but because you finally accepted what was already yours. This is the power of assumption. This is the law at work. Live in the end, and the end will come to you. Anxiety is the greatest obstacle between you and the life you desire. It is the mind's way of trying to control what is already taken care of. You have been taught that worrying is a natural response to uncertainty, that it is a sign of responsibility, but in truth, worry is a denial of divine provision. It is a rejection of the truth that what you seek is already yours. The moment you let go of anxiety, you make space for what has always been waiting to reach you. Understand this: creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists in the unseen realm. The only thing standing in the way of its appearance in your life is your attachment to fear, doubt, and control. You believe you must make things happen, that you must struggle to achieve, but this is an illusion. You do not manifest through effort, you manifest through alignment. And alignment cannot exist where anxiety rules. Anxiety is born from the belief that things could go wrong, that you might fail, that what you desire might not come to pass. But where does this belief come from? It comes from looking at appearances, from trusting the physical world over the unseen. It comes from forgetting that the external is nothing more than a reflection of the internal. When you worry, you place more faith in obstacles than in divine order. You believe in lack more than abundance, in struggle more than ease. And what you believe is what you experience. But the moment you release anxiety, you shift. You step into trust. You open the way for what is already yours to flow into your life effortlessly. You are not meant to force outcomes. You are not meant to struggle and strive. Your role is to assume, to believe, to know, and then to let go. When you hold on too tightly, when you obsess over how and when something will happen, you block it. Your very effort to control delays its arrival. Think of a river. Water flows naturally, effortlessly, always finding its way. But if you were to place a dam in its path, the flow would be blocked. The water would build up, creating pressure, unable to move freely. This is what happens when you allow anxiety to rule. Your doubt, your fear, your need for control become the dam that stops the natural flow of your blessings. But the moment you remove the blockage, when you release fear, let go of worry, and surrender to trust, the current resumes. Everything moves as it was meant to, with ease, without force. This is why you must train yourself to surrender. To know that what is yours will come in perfect time, in perfect order, without struggle. Let go of the need to question, to analyze, to plan every detail. The unseen hand of God is already at work, orchestrating events in ways beyond your comprehension. Your only job is to trust. But trust does not mean passivity. It does not mean sitting idly, waiting for things to happen. Trust means knowing so completely that something is yours that you no longer feel the need to worry about it. It means walking through life with the quiet confidence of one who already possesses the thing they once desired. It means shifting from fear to faith, from anxiety to peace. If you find yourself consumed with worry, stop and ask yourself, what am I believing in this moment? Am I believing in lack, in failure, in uncertainty? Or am I believing in divine provision, in the certainty that all is unfolding in my favor? You cannot hold two opposing beliefs at once. You must choose. Choose to believe in the unseen rather than in appearances. Choose to trust in the fulfillment of your desires rather than in the illusion of delay. And once you choose, act as though it is already done. Let your mind rest. Let your heart be still. Move through your day with the assurance that everything is working for you, even when you cannot yet see it. Because the truth is, the moment you let go of anxiety, you allow what is already yours to come forth. It has been waiting for you all along. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. This is the great truth that governs your reality. Desire alone does not bring about change. Wanting, hoping, or wishing for something does not make it appear. It is only when you become the thing you seek that it flows to you effortlessly. This is the law of being, the unshakable truth that your external world is merely a reflection of your internal state. If you believe yourself to be lacking, if you see yourself as someone struggling to receive, the world will mirror that back to you. You will find yourself in situations where things seem just out of reach. You will experience delays, obstacles, and disappointments, not because the universe is withholding from you, but because you have not yet shifted your state of being. But the moment you step into the state of already having, of already being, everything changes. Think of the wealthy person. They do not chase money. Money flows to them. Not because they are lucky, not because they are special, but because they have embodied the state of wealth. They see themselves as abundant, and so the world reflects that assumption. Likewise, the confident person does not beg for approval. They do not seek validation. Instead, they move through the world as someone already worthy, and as a result, they are treated accordingly. The same is true for you. If you desire abundance, do not seek it, become it. If you desire love, do not chase it, embody it. The outer world is secondary. It is the shadow cast by your inner reality. You must shift within first, and then, effortlessly, the world will rearrange itself to match your new state. Many people make the mistake of believing that action alone will bring them what they want. They think that if they work harder, push more, or force things to happen, they will receive their desires. But this approach is rooted in lack. It is based on the assumption that what they seek is separate from them, that it is something they must earn or struggle for. And so, despite their efforts, they continue to chase but never truly attain. But when you understand the law of being, you no longer chase, you attract. You do not beg, you allow. You step into the version of yourself who already has what you seek, and by doing so it must come to you. Not by force, not by struggle, but by natural alignment. Imagine for a moment that you are already the person you wish to be. If you seek financial abundance, how would you think, speak, and act if you were already wealthy? Would you worry about bills? Would you stress over opportunities? Or would you move through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that money flows to you with ease? If you desire success, embody it now. Do not wait for recognition or external validation. Move through your day as someone who is already accomplished. Speak with certainty. Carry yourself with the knowing that you are already where you wish to be. The world will adjust to meet your expectation. This is not pretending, it is creation. It is shifting into a new version of yourself, a version that naturally attracts the things you once sought. When you truly assume a state of being, everything changes. You no longer feel the need to search, to struggle, to ask when or how. You simply know. And in that knowing, you allow what is yours to flow effortlessly into your life. But embodiment requires discipline. It is not enough to think positively for a few moments and then return to old patterns of doubt and fear. You must persist. You must refuse to be swayed by appearances. Even if your current reality shows no sign of change, remain firm in your assumption. Know that the unseen is always working, that what you have accepted internally must externalize in time. This is the true secret of effortless manifestation. It is not about forcing change, it is about becoming change. When you align with the state of already having, you shift into a new frequency. And on this frequency, everything you desire is drawn to you effortlessly. Opportunities appear without struggle, doors open without force. People, resources, and events move into place in ways you could never have planned. Ask yourself, who am I being right now? Am I being the person who lacks, who doubts, who struggles? Or am I being the person who already has, who already is? The choice is always yours. And the moment you decide to step into the version of yourself who already possesses what you seek, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. This is the law of being. It is not a secret, it is the fundamental nature of reality. Embody what you desire and it will seek you out. You have been taught to believe that in order to have what you desire, you must first seek it, chase it, and work tirelessly for it. But this is not how reality works. The world does not respond to effort alone. It responds to who you are being. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. This is the great secret that so few understand. The moment you embody the state of abundance, opportunities, wealth, and success begin to seek you out effortlessly. Look at the people around you. Some struggle for years, working harder than anyone else, yet they remain stuck in the same cycle of lack. Others seem to glide through life, attracting wealth, love, and success with little effort. Why? It is not because they are lucky, nor because they work harder. It is because they are being the person who already possesses what they seek. Your external world is nothing more than a reflection of your internal state. If you see yourself as someone who lacks, who is struggling, who is waiting for things to change, then the world will mirror that reality back to you. But the moment you assume the identity of one who already has, everything shifts. It is not enough to wish for abundance, you must step into it. You must carry yourself as though your desires are already fulfilled. This is not pretending, it is being. It is embodying the energy of already having what you seek. If you desire wealth, but in your heart you still feel poor, wealth will continue to evade you. If you desire love, but in your mind you believe yourself to be unworthy, love will remain distant. The law is absolute. You do not receive what you ask for, you receive what you are. Then do you become what you seek? You begin by shifting your state of being. Stop asking when will it come and instead declare it is already mine. Stop searching outside yourself for signs of change and start cultivating the feeling of already being there. Ask yourself, if I already had the job, the money, the success, how would I feel? How would I walk? How would I speak? What thoughts would fill my mind? Then begin to embody that now. The world will try to convince you that this is foolish, that you must first see evidence before you believe. But this is not how creation works. It is belief that brings things into form, not the other way around. You must first be before you can have. Consider the example of a person who is always in demand. They do not chase opportunities. Opportunities find them. Why? Because they carry the energy of someone who is already successful, already valuable, already chosen. They are not desperately seeking, they are simply being. And because they are being, the world reflects their inner state back to them. Most people live in a state of lack, constantly affirming their need, their waiting, their hoping. And so the world gives them more of the same, more need, more waiting, more hoping. But those who shift their being into the state of already having will see their outer world transform to match. This is the law of being, and it is always in effect. It is not a matter of luck, nor chance, nor fate. It is a law as certain as gravity. Change your state of being, and your world must change in response. So do not seek, be, do not chase. Embody, assume the feeling of already being the person you desire to be, and watch as life bends to meet you. There is a divine promise that has already been spoken over your life. Everything you desire, everything you need has already been prepared. There is no struggle, no striving, no need to chase after what is already yours. The world may tell you to work harder, to push more, to search endlessly for opportunities, but God's truth is different. The work is done. Your only duty now is to believe, to rest, and to allow. Most people live their lives in a constant state of seeking. They believe that if they just do a little more, if they put in more effort, if they search harder, then maybe, just maybe, they will find what they are looking for. But the moment you believe that you must go out and get something, you are admitting that you do not yet have it. And as long as you believe that it is not yours, it will remain out of reach. But what if you stopped searching? What if you knew, beyond any doubt, that all has already been arranged for you? What if, instead of anxiously trying to figure out how everything will come together, you chose to rest in the promise that it is already done? This is where true power lies, not in effort, but in knowing. Resting in the promise is not laziness, nor is it inaction. It is the highest form of faith. It is the deep and unshakable awareness that the unseen hand of God is already moving, aligning every event, every opportunity, every person in perfect order. You do not have to manipulate, force, or beg. You only need to trust. Consider the way nature operates. A tree does not strain to grow. It simply reaches toward the sun and the process unfolds naturally. The seasons do not fight against time, they shift effortlessly from one to the next. Birds do not worry about their next meal. They move through life with complete trust in provision. Why then do you believe that you must do more, search more, try harder? Have you not been promised that all things are already prepared? Your desires were not placed in you randomly. They were planted as seeds of a reality that already exists. The moment a desire is born within you, it means that in the unseen it is already done. Your only task is to align yourself with this truth, to see it as already complete, to feel it as already real, to rest in the knowing that what is meant for you cannot pass you by. But most people do not rest. They worry, they fear, they doubt, and in doing so, they block the very thing that is trying to reach them. Worry is the opposite of faith. It is the declaration that you do not believe in the promise, that you do not trust the divine order of things. The moment you let go of this worry, the moment you release the need to control every detail, you create the space for what is yours to flow effortlessly into your life. Be still and allow. Stop asking when, how, or if. Instead, shift into a state of quiet confidence, of peaceful knowing. Speak as if it is already done. Walk as if you already have it. Move through life with the ease of someone who knows that everything is unfolding perfectly. The world may not understand this. It may call you foolish for not worrying, for not chasing, for not struggling. But those who truly understand the power of faith know that the greatest action is often stillness. It is the willingness to trust so deeply that you no longer feel the need to search. Do you trust the promise? Do you truly believe that what you seek is already seeking you? If so, then let go, rest, be still. Let the divine take care of the details. Your only duty is to believe, to hold firm in the assumption that it is already done, and to allow it to come to you. When you finally understand that you are not the doer, that your desires are divine instructions already fulfilled, that living in the end is the key, that letting go of anxiety allows divine provision, that you attract what you are, and that resting in the promise is the ultimate act of faith, then life begins to unfold in ways you never imagined. You no longer struggle, chase, or beg, because you know that everything is already arranged. The moment you shift your state of being, the world bends to reflect your inner reality. So, stop searching, stop striving, step into the knowing that all is done. Walk with confidence, speak with certainty, and rest in the truth that God has already made the way. You are not waiting on life. Life is waiting on you to realize who you truly are. Thank you for listening. May you step forward in faith, rest in the promise, and allow the abundance that is already yours to flow effortlessly into your life. Close your eyes for a moment and listen. Not with your ears, but with your soul. The universe has always been speaking to you, but have you been listening? More importantly, do you know how to speak back? You do not talk to the universe with desperation, with doubt, or with fear. It does not respond to complaints, nor does it hear the words of a mind scattered in uncertainty. The universe hears assumption, it hears certainty. It hears belief. When you whisper to yourself, "I am wealthy," but deep within you feel the lack, what do you think the universe hears? It does not hear your words. It hears your feeling, and it faithfully reflects it back to you. Every time you declare, "I will have it someday," you are telling the universe, "Not now," and so it obeys, keeping your desire just out of reach. But what if instead you declared, "It is done"? What if instead you moved as though what you seek is already yours? This is how you talk to the universe. You see, the universe is a mirror. It does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are. If you are waiting, it will make you wait. If you are lacking, it will show you more lack. But if you embody abundance, love, power, it has no choice but to give you the reflection of that state. There is no separation between you and your desire. Right now, at this moment, the version of you who already has what you want exists. But you must step into that reality. You must assume it, live it, breathe it. Do not say, "I hope the universe will bring it." Instead, say, "Thank you, it is already mine." So, speak to the universe in the only language it understands: assumption, belief, and unwavering certainty, and watch how reality bends in your favor. The universe does not respond to pleading, desperation, or wishful thinking. It responds to certainty. It mirrors back not what you beg for, but what you assume to be true. This is the fundamental principle that governs creation. Most people make the mistake of thinking that if they just ask enough, if they just plead hard enough, the universe will eventually grant their desires. But this approach is rooted in lack. It is a declaration that what you want is not already yours. When you beg for something, you are reinforcing the idea that you do not have it. And because the universe is a mirror, it simply reflects that state back to you. More lack, more waiting, more hoping, but never the fulfillment of your desire. Consider for a moment the nature of reality. Everything that exists in your life right now is a reflection of your dominant assumptions, the beliefs you carry, whether conscious or unconscious, shape your experience. If you believe that success is difficult, life will continuously show you obstacles. If you assume that love is fleeting, relationships will slip through your fingers. If you expect financial struggle, money will always seem to be just out of reach. You are not simply experiencing life, you are projecting it. The secret is understanding that assumption creates reality. The moment you assume something as fact, the universe sets events in motion to confirm that assumption. It is not a question of effort or struggle, it is simply the natural law at work. Just as a seed, once planted, grows effortlessly into the plant it was destined to be, your assumptions unfold into your life without force. The question then is not how to receive your desire, but who you are being in relation to it. Are you assuming the state of the one who already possesses it, or are you constantly reinforcing the idea that it is something separate from you? The key is to embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled. If you desire wealth, walk in the world as though you are already abundant. If you desire love, carry yourself as someone who is deeply cherished. If you desire health, assume the state of perfect well-being. It is not about pretending or deceiving yourself. It is about recognizing that the version of you who has what you seek already exists in a higher state of consciousness. There is no separation between you and your desire, except for the illusion created by your own doubts. The moment you drop the belief that it is distant, the moment you stop treating it as something to be achieved someday, it becomes yours. Because in truth, it was never apart from you to begin with. The only thing that was missing was your assumption of it. Many wonder why their desires seem to take so long to manifest. The answer is simple: they waver. One moment they assume it is done. The next they check their circumstances, looking for signs, doubting, questioning. This back and forth creates resistance. The universe cannot bring you what you are unsure about. It only delivers certainty. The moment you declare something to be yours with absolute confidence, without needing proof, without needing validation, reality reshapes itself to match that conviction. Think of the air you breathe. Do you worry about whether there will be enough oxygen for you in the next moment? No, because you assume that it is always there. You do not beg for air. You do not question its existence. You simply breathe, knowing it is available. This is the level of certainty you must bring to your desires. The world will tell you to work harder, to try more, to push against circumstances. But none of that is necessary when you understand the power of assumption. The external world is only a shadow of your internal state. Change the assumption and the world must conform. It has no choice. So stop asking, stop pleading, stop treating your desire as something far away. Assume it, live in it. Let the feeling of having it now consume you. And in that moment it is done. The universe has heard you. And because it cannot fail to reflect your assumption, it is only a matter of time before what was once unseen becomes undeniable reality. Your inner world is the blueprint of your reality. Every thought you repeat, every silent conversation you have with yourself is a direct communication with the universe. You are always speaking, always creating, whether you realize it or not. The question is, what are you saying? Most people believe that their reality is shaped by external events. But the truth is that everything begins within. The thoughts you entertain, the words you silently whisper to yourself, and the beliefs you reinforce in your mind are constantly forming the world around you. The universe is not separate from you. It is a perfect mirror, reflecting back the contents of your consciousness. If you find yourself struggling, if life seems to be filled with obstacles, take a moment to observe your inner dialogue. Are you constantly affirming lack? Are you silently repeating stories of failure, doubt, or limitation? The words you speak within are far more powerful than the words you say out loud. A person may verbally declare, "I am successful," but if their inner conversation is filled with thoughts of inadequacy and fear, the universe will respond to the dominant inner belief, not the outward declaration. You cannot speak of abundance in your mind while feeling scarcity in your heart and expect wealth to flow into your life. You cannot hope for love while silently believing you are unworthy of it. The universe does not respond to empty words. It responds to conviction. What you persistently affirm within, whether in fear or in faith, manifests into your world. Many are unaware that they are constantly engaged in self-talk. It happens in moments of silence, in those quiet spaces between actions, in the way you react internally when facing challenges. If you want to change your life, you must first change your inner conversations. You must speak to yourself as if you are already the person you wish to become. Imagine for a moment that you are already living your ideal life. How would you speak to yourself? What words would dominate your thoughts? Would you still dwell on doubt, or would your inner dialogue be filled with confidence and certainty? The key to transformation lies in assuming this new conversation now, not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, but in this very moment. This is not about forced positivity or suppressing emotions. It is about consciously directing your thoughts to align with what you desire. It is about catching yourself when negative inner chatter arises and shifting it to something empowering. If your mind repeats, "I can't," you must replace it with, "I am more than capable." If it whispers, "It's not working," you must affirm, "It is already done." You must persist in this new mental dialogue until it becomes your natural way of thinking. In the beginning, it may feel unnatural, but with repetition, it becomes second nature. And when it does, your external world will begin to change. Opportunities will arise where there were none before. Doors will open effortlessly. Circumstances will shift to reflect your new internal state. The world will tell you that change requires hard work, struggle, and endless effort. But true transformation begins with the mind. A person who shifts their inner conversations does not need to chase after things. They are drawn to them naturally. The successful do not achieve greatness because they are different. They achieve it because they think differently. They expect success. They assume abundance. They believe in their own power. And because they believe it within, the universe delivers it without. Your inner conversations are the foundation of your reality. If you wish to see a new world, you must first create it within. Speak to yourself as the person you desire to be. Think from the place of already having it, and as you do, the universe will faithfully reflect your assumption, bringing your desires into form with effortless precision. The universe does not respond to mere words. It responds to the energy behind them. It is not what you say, but what you feel that shapes your reality. Feeling is the secret language of creation, the bridge between thought and manifestation. If you wish to receive what you desire, you must go beyond words and embody the feeling of already having it. Many people believe that if they say the right affirmations, repeat enough prayers, or visualize with perfect clarity, their desires will come to pass. But words spoken without feeling are empty. They do not move the universe. You can say, "I am wealthy" 1,000 times, but if you feel broke, if your inner state is filled with fear and lack, the universe will reflect that feeling back to you. It is not about saying you have something, it is about knowing it, feeling it, living in that state before it appears. Feeling is the signal you send out, and the universe faithfully echoes it back. This is why two people can say the same words, yet get entirely different results. One person affirms their success with absolute confidence, with an unshakable inner state that aligns with their words. The other says the same words, but feels doubt, anxiety, or impatience. The universe responds not to the words, but to the dominant feeling behind them. If you desire wealth, you must not simply wish for it. You must feel as though you are already wealthy. What does it feel like to wake up in abundance? How does your body relax when you know you are financially free? What kind of confidence do you carry when you know that money flows to you effortlessly? These are the feelings you must embrace. Not someday, not when circumstances change, but now. If you desire love, you must not feel lonely while hoping for love to come. You must assume the feeling of already being deeply loved. How does it feel to be cherished, to be valued, to be in a relationship where you are completely adored? You must let that feeling take root in your heart, allowing it to become your dominant emotional state. When you do, love cannot help but appear, for the universe must reflect your assumption. Most people get caught in the trap of waiting. They wait for evidence, for signs, for confirmation, before they allow themselves to feel the joy of their desire fulfilled. But this is backward. You do not wait for reality to change before you feel it. You feel it first, and then reality changes. This is the great secret of creation. The feeling precedes the event. To master this, you must learn to dwell in the state of your wish fulfilled. You must live from the end, embodying the emotions of already having what you desire. This is not pretending or daydreaming. It is a conscious shift in being. It is an inner conviction so strong that nothing in the outer world can shake it. When you persist in this feeling, when you refuse to waver, the universe must respond. Silence is not emptiness. It is not a void. It is a powerful language, a direct form of communication with the universe. Most people believe that only spoken words, affirmations, and prayers shape their reality. But the deepest transformations happen in stillness. It is in silence that you align with your desires, that you connect with the infinite intelligence within you, and that the external world begins to mirror your inner state. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and endless activity, people have forgotten the power of stillness. They believe they must constantly talk, plan, and struggle to make things happen. But true creation does not require force, it requires alignment. And alignment happens when the mind is quiet, when doubts dissolve, and when you enter a state of deep knowing. Stillness and silence are not passive acts. They are an active form of communication with the universe. When you sit in silence, you are not simply doing nothing. You are allowing your energy to recalibrate, your mind to settle, and your inner wisdom to guide you. It is in these moments that you become receptive, that answers come, and that your desires begin to take shape in the unseen. The universe responds to certainty, not desperation. If you feel anxious, if you are constantly questioning when your manifestation will appear, you are sending a signal of doubt. But when you enter silence, when you surrender the need to control and instead trust that all is unfolding perfectly, you communicate faith, and faith is the language the universe understands best. Many people think they need to constantly affirm their desires out loud, repeat them over and over, as if the universe has not heard them the first time. But this is unnecessary. The moment you have imagined something and truly felt it to be real, it is already in motion. What delays it is the constant questioning, the overthinking, the inner chatter that contradicts your assumption. Silence dissolves this resistance. When you quiet your mind, you enter a state of allowing. You step into a space where you no longer feel the need to chase, push, or struggle. Instead, you become a magnet. The things you once worked so hard for begin to move toward you effortlessly. Why? Because you are no longer vibrating at the frequency of lack. You are aligned with the energy of already having it. There is a deep intelligence in stillness. In silence, you connect with your higher self, the part of you that already knows the path, the timing, and the way. When you stop trying to figure everything out, when you stop filling every moment with thoughts and words, you create space for divine guidance. Solutions appear. Inspired action arises naturally. You no longer force, you flow. Being internally at peace is the most powerful state you can be in. It is the state of total trust, where you no longer worry, doubt, or seek validation from the outside world. You know that everything is working in your favor, and because you know it, the universe aligns to reflect that truth. If you want to see real change in your life, practice silence. Sit in stillness, not to ask, not to beg, but to listen. Listen to the quiet whispers of your soul. Feel the presence of your desires already fulfilled. Let go of the need to control and simply be. The more you cultivate silence, the more clarity you gain. The more clarity you gain, the more effortless your manifestations become. The world around you is only an echo of your inner world. When you are still, when you are calm, when you hold the deep knowing that what you desire is already yours, the external world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match that energy. Silence is a conversation with the infinite. It is the space where all creation begins. Enter it often, trust in its power, and watch as the universe responds in ways beyond what words could ever achieve. You do not need to create anything. You do not need to force, struggle, or make something happen. Everything you desire already exists. The wealth you seek, the love you crave, the success you envision, it is all already here, existing as a reality just as valid as the one you're experiencing now. Your only task is to align with it, to step into the version of you that already has it. Most people live under the illusion that they must bring things into existence, that they must work endlessly to create their dreams. But this is not true. Every possible reality already exists, like channels on a television. If you are watching a program you dislike, you do not need to create a new one from scratch. You simply change the channel. Reality works the same way. You are not creating, you are tuning in, selecting, choosing which version of yourself you will embody. There is a version of you that is wealthy. There is a version of you that is deeply loved. There is a version of you that is free, fulfilled, and at peace. These versions are not imaginary, they are just as real as your current experience. The reason you are not living them yet is because you have not fully aligned with them. You have not stepped into the state of being that matches that version of yourself. Your state of being, your thoughts, emotions, and assumptions, determines the reality you experience. If you constantly think from lack, if you feel doubt, if you assume things are difficult, then you are aligning with a version of reality where your desires remain out of reach. But the moment you shift your state, the moment you assume the feeling of already having what you desire, everything begins to change. Think of it this way. If you were already successful, already abundant, already loved, how would you think? How would you feel? How would you move through the world? Begin to embody that now, and reality will shift accordingly. The outer world is only a reflection of your inner state. Change your state, and the world around you must change to match it. This is not about pretending or faking it. It is about knowing, deeply knowing, that you are already the person who has what you desire. When you walk with that certainty, when you refuse to entertain thoughts of lack or fear, the universe has no choice but to align with your assumption. The mistake many people make is waiting for evidence before they believe. They wait to see money in their bank account before they feel wealthy. They wait for love to appear before they feel loved. But this is backward. The feeling must come first. The belief must come first. You must claim it internally before you see it externally. If you want to step into a new reality, start by shifting your assumptions. Stop thinking of your desires as something far away, something you need to chase. Instead, see them as done. Feel the relief, the gratitude, the joy of already having them. Speak, act, and move through the world as if you are already that version of yourself. This is not about effort. It is about awareness. The moment you become aware that everything already exists, that you are simply choosing your reality, life becomes effortless. You stop forcing, you stop worrying, you stop doubting. You step into a flow where things unfold naturally, where opportunities come easily, where you no longer chase but attract. Nothing is missing. Nothing is out of reach. The reality you desire is already here. The only question is, will you align with it? Will you allow yourself to be that version of you now? The choice is yours. It always has been. Gratitude is the language of certainty. It is the unshakable knowing that what you desire is already yours. When you express gratitude, you are not merely being polite or optimistic, you are affirming possession. You are speaking the language of completion, telling the universe that you recognize and accept your desire as fulfilled. This is why gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in manifestation. It accelerates the process by confirming that you are aligned with the reality you seek. Most people wait to feel grateful until after they receive what they want. They believe gratitude is a reaction to something happening. But true gratitude is not reactive, it is proactive. It is the embodiment of faith, the deep inner knowing that your desire is already on its way. When you give thanks in advance, you shift your state of being from one of lack to one of abundance, and the universe must respond accordingly. Imagine for a moment that you have already received what you desire. If you were holding the keys to your dream home, if you were standing in the reality of your fulfilled wish, wouldn't you naturally feel gratitude? Wouldn't you feel a deep sense of relief and joy? This is the feeling you must cultivate now. Gratitude is not about waiting. It is about bringing that feeling into the present moment, knowing that what you seek is already done. When you thank the universe in advance, you are making a declaration. You are saying, I believe, I trust, I know this is mine. And when your belief is unwavering, reality has no choice but to conform. The universe does not respond to doubt or hesitation. It responds to certainty. Gratitude seals that certainty in place. This is why the most effective way to manifest is to speak to the universe as if your desire is already yours. Do not ask as if you are lacking. Do not plead as if you are desperate. Instead, affirm and give thanks. Say, I am so grateful for my financial abundance. Say, I am so thankful for the love that surrounds me. Say, I am beyond grateful that my desires are unfolding perfectly. These statements do not leave room for uncertainty. They affirm completion. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present. The more you focus on what you already have, the more you attract. This is the nature of energy. Like attracts like. When you feel abundant, you attract abundance. When you feel loved, you attract love. When you feel successful, success follows. Gratitude places you in the energy of receiving. It removes resistance, allowing your desires to manifest quickly and effortlessly. Most delays in manifestation happen because of doubt, impatience, and contradictory inner conversations. People affirm their desires one moment, then question their reality the next. They wonder when it will happen, why it is taking so long, or if they are doing something wrong. This back and forth energy slows down the process. Gratitude eliminates this resistance. It keeps you anchored in the state of already having. When you are thankful, you are no longer waiting, you are knowing. Make gratitude your daily practice. Before you go to sleep, give thanks as if everything you desire is already done. When you wake up, express gratitude for the unfolding of your dreams. Let every thought, every word, every feeling be infused with the certainty that what you seek is already yours. This is how you communicate with the universe. Not with need, not with desperation, but with unwavering gratitude. When you live in this state, reality bends in your favor. Doors open effortlessly. Opportunities flow to you. You no longer chase, you attract. Your desires are already here, waiting for you to claim them. Speak with gratitude. Walk with certainty and watch as the universe moves to meet you exactly where you are. The universe is always listening. Every thought, every feeling, every assumption is a conversation with the unseen forces shaping your reality. You are not separate from what you desire. You are always choosing, always aligning, always stepping into a version of yourself that already exists. Whether through inner conversations, deep feeling, silence, gratitude, or unwavering certainty, you are in constant dialogue with the infinite. You do not need to chase, beg, or struggle. Everything is already here waiting for your alignment. When you assume the feeling of already having, when you quiet the doubt and speak with gratitude, you step into the flow where manifestation happens naturally. The key is not effort but belief, not waiting but knowing, not hoping but embodying. Trust this process. Trust yourself. The power has always been within you. The moment you fully accept that truth, your world will transform in ways beyond your imagination. Thank you for allowing these words to reach you. May you step forward with confidence, speak to the universe with certainty, and receive everything that is already yours. Be still. Breathe. Release the weight of trying to control every detail of your life. The battle is not yours to fight, and the door is not yours to force open. There is a power beyond what the eyes can see, a presence working tirelessly on your behalf. Even now, while you stand at the edge of uncertainty, divine hands are arranging circumstances, aligning people, and moving obstacles you never knew existed. When you rest, you are not giving up, you are surrendering to something far greater. You are stepping into the truth that what is meant for you is already on its way. You do not have to struggle, beg, or exhaust yourself in pursuit of what is divinely yours. What do you gain by worrying? What changes when you stress over tomorrow? The answer is nothing. But when you enter the state of rest, true rest, the kind that knows the work is already done, you unlock the door to effortless manifestation. Look around you. The evidence may not be visible yet, but the unseen forces are already setting things in place. The right people, the right moments, the right opportunities, none of them are random. They are all part of a divine orchestration. Rest now, step into the knowing that God has already declared your victory. The only thing left for you to do is believe it. Walk as if it is done, speak as if it has already happened. Feel the reality of your answered prayer before it arrives, and watch how effortlessly it unfolds before you. This is not a time for doubt, this is not a time for fear, this is a time for trust. Rest, for the promise is already fulfilled. What you see is not all there is. The world before your eyes is but a fraction of reality, a mere shadow cast by something far greater. The physical realm, bound by time and space, often tricks you into believing that what is visible is all that exists. But beyond what you can touch, beyond what you can measure, there is an unseen hand at work, arranging, shifting, and preparing the way for you. You may look around and see lack, struggle, and unanswered prayers, but that is only because your eyes have not yet adjusted to the higher reality. Just as the roots of a tree grow beneath the soil long before the leaves appear, so too does God's work in your life begin long before you can see its evidence. You are not forsaken. You are not forgotten. The silence is not emptiness. It is preparation. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up each day to see if it is growing. You trust the process. You know that beneath the soil, the seed is breaking open, putting down roots, reaching toward the surface. The moment of breakthrough is inevitable. So it is with the plans God has for you. Just because you do not see them unfolding does not mean they are not happening. The timing of manifestation is not determined by your impatience, but by divine wisdom. Consider a moment in your life when things seem to fall into place effortlessly. You did not struggle or force them to happen. They simply aligned. That was not coincidence, that was divine orchestration. What you call chance is often unseen grace. The right opportunity, the right person, the right words at the right time. All of it flows through an intelligence far greater than human effort. Faith is the bridge between what you see and what is yet to be revealed. It is the invisible thread connecting you to the reality you desire, even when there is no visible proof of its existence. Faith is knowing that what is for you is already set in motion. It does not waver in uncertainty. It does not collapse under delay. Faith stands firm, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. Many people believe only in what they can confirm with their senses. They say, "I will believe it when I see it." But that is not faith, that is observation. Faith operates in the unseen, trusting in what is not yet visible but is already true. It does not require physical proof, because it knows that proof follows belief, not the other way around. There is a version of you in another reality, already living the life you desire. The person who is healed, who is whole, who has received the very thing you are longing for, it already exists. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not a matter of effort but of alignment. When you shift your belief, when you trust that God has already prepared the way, you step onto the bridge of faith. The mistake many make is assuming that if they do not see movement, nothing is happening. But think of a seedling before it breaks the surface. For weeks, it appears as if nothing is happening, yet beneath the soil, an entire transformation is taking place. Roots are growing deeper, foundations are being established. If you judge it too soon, you may believe the seed has failed, but in reality, it is preparing for its appointed time. You may be in that season of hidden growth. You may feel as though nothing is changing, no doors are opening, no progress is being made. But if you could see what is happening beneath the surface, you would not worry. You would rest, knowing that God is working on your behalf in ways beyond your comprehension. Faith is not passive, it is active. It is not merely hoping that things will get better. It is knowing that they already are. It is the conviction that your prayer has been answered the moment you ask, even before the physical proof appears. Just as a traveler boards a plane knowing they will arrive at their destination without seeing the pilot or the inner workings of the aircraft, faith allows you to move forward with confidence, knowing that the path has already been prepared. Imagine the weight that would lift from your shoulders if you truly believed this. If you lived as though your desires were already fulfilled, how differently would you act? Would you worry less? Would you speak with greater certainty? Would you wake up with joy rather than anxiety? This is the power of faith. It allows you to live in the reality of your answered prayers before they have manifested. God is not bound by time as you are. He does not work within human limitations. What seems delayed to you is perfectly on schedule in the divine plan. Your part is not to force, not to struggle, but to trust. Every great breakthrough is preceded by a period of seeming stillness. The world was created in the unseen before it became visible. Your blessings are no different. They exist now, in a realm beyond sight, waiting for the appointed moment to be revealed. Release the need to control. Stop trying to figure out every detail. The how is not your responsibility, the belief is. When you plant the seed of faith, water it with trust, speak as if it is done, feel the reality of it now. When you do, you are no longer waiting, you are walking in alignment with the unseen forces bringing it into being. What you see is not all there is. Do not be fooled by appearances. The doors that seem closed, the delays that frustrate you, the circumstances that look impossible, none of them define your reality. The moment you believe, the unseen begins to take shape. It is already happening. It is already yours. Rest in this truth. Walk in this knowing. Faith is the bridge, and the moment you step onto it, you will realize that you were never waiting at all. You were always moving toward what was already prepared for you. To rest is not to be idle, nor is it a sign of weakness. It is in fact the highest demonstration of trust. It is a declaration that you believe in something greater than your own strength, greater than your own plans, and greater than the limitations of the physical world. To rest is to surrender the illusion of control and acknowledge that there is a divine intelligence at work in your life, orchestrating events with a wisdom far beyond human comprehension. Many believe that relentless effort is the key to success. They work tirelessly, worry endlessly, and push themselves beyond their limits, believing that only through sheer determination can they bring their desires to fruition. But what if the very act of striving is the thing that is keeping the blessing at bay? What if the need to constantly do, to constantly force, is blocking the flow of what has already been set in motion for you? Rest is not about doing nothing, it is about doing something powerful. It is about aligning yourself with the truth that what is meant for you cannot be taken away, delayed, or denied by external circumstances. When you truly trust, you release the urgency, the anxiety, and the need to manipulate outcomes. You step into a state of calm certainty, knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. There is a reason why seasons exist. The earth does not rush the process of growth. A tree does not anxiously question whether spring will come after winter. It simply abides, knowing that the cycle is guaranteed. It does not force its leaves to grow, nor does it panic when they fall. It trusts. Likewise, when you learn to rest, you begin to move in harmony with divine timing rather than against it. Resting does not mean giving up. It does not mean abandoning your dreams or sitting passively while waiting for things to happen. It means shifting from fear-based action to faith-based living. When you act out of fear, you strive, you chase, and you exhaust yourself in an attempt to control what is already taken care of. But when you act from faith, you move with ease, with confidence, and with the knowing that what is meant for you is already making its way to you. Consider the story of a farmer. He tills the soil, plants the seed, and waters it. But after that, he does not stand over the seed demanding that it sprout immediately. He does not dig it up each day to check if growth has begun. He simply trusts the process. He rests in the assurance that given time, the seed will break through the soil and bear fruit. His job is not to force the growth. His job is to prepare the soil and then allow nature to do. So it is with your life. Your part is to plant the seed, through belief, through preparation, through inspired action, but the growth, the manifestation, the perfect unfolding of events, That is not your work. That is the work of divine power. To interfere, to worry, to stress over what is already in motion is to act as though you do not trust the very thing you say you believe in. You may not see immediate results, but that does not mean nothing is happening. Just as the seed must first develop roots before it can break through the surface, so too must your blessings take root in the unseen before they appear in the seen. The delay is not a denial, it is a necessary part of the process. To rest is to trust that even in the silence, even in the stillness, something is being prepared for you. There is a great misconception that busyness equates to progress. That if you are not constantly moving, constantly striving, then you are falling behind. But true progress does not come from frantic action, it comes from aligned action. And aligned action is born from a place of inner stillness. When you truly trust, you stop feeling the need to prove yourself through overexertion. You stop seeking validation from the external world. You stop measuring your worth by how much you accomplish. Instead, you operate from a place of knowing that you are already enough, knowing that everything is working in your favor, knowing that divine timing is never late. Rest is a declaration of faith. It is a statement that you believe in a higher plan, that you are willing to let go of the illusion of control and allow God to work in His perfect way. It is the opposite of worry, the opposite of fear, the opposite of striving. It is a conscious choice to let go and allow divine power to flow unimpeded. Imagine how your life would change if you embraced this truth, if you stopped forcing, stopped stressing, and instead rested in the certainty that everything is already taken care of. Would you breathe easier? Would you sleep better? Would you move through your days with greater joy and peace? When you rest, you make room for miracles. You open yourself to the unexpected, to the blessings that could never be manufactured through human effort alone. You become a vessel for divine alignment rather than a barrier to it. Rest, not because you are giving up, but because you are choosing to trust. Rest, not because nothing is happening, but because everything is happening in the unseen. Rest, because to rest is to declare that you believe in God's perfect timing more than your own. And when you do, you will see things will begin to align, doors will open effortlessly, and what once seemed impossible will unfold before you with a grace that striving could never achieve. The work is already being done. Your only job now is to believe, to receive, and to rest. Just because your eyes cannot perceive it does not mean nothing is happening. The unseen forces are constantly at work, shifting, arranging, and aligning circumstances in your favor. The greatest transformations do not begin in the physical realm. They originate in the unseen, where divine intelligence operates beyond human comprehension. You must understand that what is visible is merely a reflection of what is being orchestrated behind the scenes. Many people become discouraged when they do not see immediate results. They pray, they affirm, they set intentions, but when nothing appears to change, doubt begins to creep in. They assume that if they cannot see movement, then nothing is happening. But this is an illusion. The most powerful changes occur beneath the surface before they ever manifest in your reality. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. To the outside world, it appears as if nothing is happening. Day after day, there is no visible sign of growth. But underneath the soil, a transformation is taking place. The seed is breaking open. Roots are spreading, and a foundation is being established long before the sprout emerges. The delay is not a denial, it is a necessary process of unseen preparation. If the seed were to sprout too soon, before the roots were deep enough, it would not survive. It would be weak, unstable, and vulnerable to external conditions. So it is with the manifestations in your life. The delay you perceive is not a rejection, it is preparation. The unseen forces are ensuring that what is being created for you has a strong foundation. What good is a blessing that arrives too soon, before you are ready to receive it? What benefit is there in forcing something that is not yet fully developed? Trust that the unseen is working in your favor, even when nothing appears to be moving. The spiritual realm operates beyond physical limitations. It does not adhere to human concepts of time or logic. While you may be looking for tangible signs, the real work is being done in dimensions beyond your immediate perception. What you desire is already being arranged, but you must align yourself with the certainty that it is coming. Doubt and impatience create resistance. When you question the process, you disrupt the flow. But when you trust, when you surrender the need to see proof, you allow things to unfold effortlessly. There are forces at play that you cannot comprehend with your logical mind. You may not understand why things seem still, why doors remain closed, or why the answers do not come in the way you expect. But the unseen does not operate according to human reasoning. It works with divine precision, ensuring that every detail is perfectly aligned. Sometimes delays are divine protection. Sometimes what seems like an obstacle is actually a redirection to something greater. Consider a person who desires a new opportunity. They pray for it, they visualize it, and they expect it to come immediately. But instead of an open door, they face setbacks. They wonder why things are not happening in their favor. What they do not see is that the right opportunity is still being prepared. Perhaps the perfect job, the perfect connection, or the perfect conditions are still being arranged. If they were to settle for the first thing that appears, they might miss out on the greater blessing that is still unfolding. The unseen forces do not work according to your impatience. They work according to divine timing. This means that things may take longer than you expect, but they will always arrive at the right time. If you can embrace this truth, you will no longer feel anxious about delays. You will no longer need to force outcomes. Instead, you will rest in the knowledge that everything is working exactly as it should. Faith is the key to unlocking the unseen. If you only believe in what you can see, then you are limiting yourself to a very small portion of reality. True faith is knowing that even when nothing appears to be happening, everything is happening. It is trusting in the unseen forces, even when your physical senses tell you otherwise. When you plant a desire in your heart, the spiritual realm immediately begins to work on it. The universe rearranges itself to bring your vision into form. But just as with nature, there is a gestation period. You cannot rush the process any more than you can rush the rising of the sun. The same power that governs the seasons, that causes the tides to rise and fall, that moves the stars in perfect harmony, is the same power that is orchestrating the events of your life. Your role is not to worry about how or when things will happen. Your role is to trust that they already are. When you stop questioning, when you stop doubting, when you stop needing proof before you believe, you become a magnet for miracles. You begin to notice the subtle signs, the synchronicities, the small nudges that indicate things are shifting. Most people give up too soon. They assume that because they cannot see movement, they are not making progress. But just like the seed underground, progress is happening whether you see it or not. If you hold on, if you continue to trust, one day without warning you will see the evidence of what was always growing beneath the surface. The unseen forces are always working. They are aligning you with opportunities, bringing the right people into your life, and clearing the path ahead of you. Do not let the illusion of stillness make you lose faith. What you seek is already on its way. What you desire is already in motion. The universe is never idle. It is constantly working behind the scenes to bring your vision into reality. So let go of the need to see proof. Let go of the doubt that creeps in when things appear stagnant. Choose to believe in the unseen, for that is where all creation begins. The forces at work in your life are far greater than what you can comprehend. And when the time is right, everything that was once hidden will be revealed, exactly as it was meant to be. What you hold as true in your heart shapes the very fabric of your existence. Your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious, dictate the path your life follows. Everything you experience, every event that unfolds, is a reflection of what you have accepted as reality. The world does not happen to you, it responds to you. It mirrors the convictions you carry deep within. This is why you must be deliberate in your assumptions, because they are not passive thoughts, but the very seeds of creation. When you assume something with unwavering belief, you set into motion unseen forces that begin shaping your world to match that assumption. It does not matter whether the assumption is based on physical evidence. The outer world is only a reflection of the inner world, and the unseen always precedes the seen. If you assume lack, struggle, or delay, then life will provide circumstances to confirm those beliefs. But if you assume favor, abundance, and divine guidance, then the universe will rearrange itself to bring those conditions to you. Assumption is not mere wishful thinking. It is not about hoping or trying to convince yourself of something that feels untrue. True assumption is a knowing, a deep and quiet certainty that does not waver even when appearances suggest otherwise. This is the key to transformation. Your reality is not determined by what currently exists, but by what you persistently assume to be true. Consider a person who desires financial prosperity. If they look at their current bank balance and allow themselves to feel discouraged, if they assume that wealth is difficult to attain, then that belief will continue to shape their experience. They will unconsciously make choices that reinforce their assumption of struggle. They may hesitate to seize opportunities. They may overlook possibilities. And they will find evidence everywhere to support their belief in limitation. But if that same person chooses to assume abundance, even before it is visible, they will start to experience subtle yet powerful shifts. Their mind will become attuned to new opportunities. They will carry themselves with confidence, attracting circumstances that align with their assumption of prosperity. The outer world will slowly, then suddenly begin to reflect what they have accepted as true. This is why assumption must be intentional. Many people unknowingly assume the worst. They expect rejection, disappointment, or delays, and so their reality conforms accordingly. But what if, instead, they assumed that everything was always working out in their favor? What if they believed, without doubt, that God was already making a way even when no evidence could be seen? To assume correctly is to live from the end. Instead of waiting for external proof, you must first embody the reality you wish to experience. Feel it, believe it, walk as if it is already done. Do not ask when or how, for the unseen forces do not work by human logic. Simply know that it is unfolding, and let that certainty become your foundation. Faith is nothing more than an unwavering assumption. It is the ability to remain firm in what is unseen, knowing that it must eventually be seen. Every great transformation begins this way. Those who have risen from nothing did not do so by accepting their present conditions. They first assumed greatness, success, or victory long before the world reflected it. They walked in the confidence of an outcome that had not yet materialized, and in time, it was made real. You must do the same. You must assume that God has already provided what you seek. The way has already been made. The doors have already been opened. Even if your senses tell you otherwise, even if circumstances seem unchanged, hold to the assumption that all things are aligning perfectly for you. Live from the end, not in reaction to the present. When you do this, you release the struggle. You stop begging for change and start knowing that change is inevitable. You no longer operate from a place of lack, desperation, or doubt. Instead, you walk with quiet assurance, a deep inner peace that knows all things are being arranged in divine order. Doubt will try to creep in, but it has no power unless you give it attention. The moment you entertain fear or question your assumption, you disrupt the process. This is why persistence is essential. Do not waver between belief and disbelief. Hold fast to your assumption as if it were already fact, because in the unseen realm it already is. God does not work through uncertainty, He responds to conviction. When you assume that He is already making a way, you are aligning yourself with the very power that creates worlds. You are stepping into harmony with the divine, allowing His will to manifest effortlessly in your life. Your assumption is the bridge between desire and fulfillment. What you persistently accept as true will materialize, for the world has no choice but to mirror your inner state. There is no randomness, no accidents, only the perfect unfolding of what you have believed in your heart. So assume boldly, assume that you are already chosen, already blessed, already victorious. Assume that the path is clear, that favor surrounds you, that all things are aligning in your favor, and then watch as life bends to reflect what you have always known to be true. The more you fight against circumstances, the more entangled you become in them. The world you see is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state, and when you resist what is, you are only reinforcing it. You may believe that through effort, struggle, or persistence you can bend reality to your will, but the truth is, your greatest power lies in surrender. Let go and allow the unseen hand of God to work for you. This is not a call to inaction, but to inspired trust. There is a vast difference between forcing an outcome and aligning with the divine flow. When you try to force things, you act from a place of fear and lack. You are saying, I do not believe this will happen unless I make it happen. But when you let go, you declare, I know it is already done. One approach is rooted in doubt, the other in faith. Circumstances are not meant to be wrestled with. They are merely shadows, reflections of what you have accepted within. Trying to change the outer world without first shifting your inner world is like trying to move a reflection in the mirror by touching the glass. It is wasted effort. The only way to alter what is seen is to change what is unseen, and that begins with surrendering the need to control. Think of a river. If you thrash against the current, you exhaust yourself, making little progress. But if you relax and allow the flow to carry you, you will arrive exactly where you need to be with ease. Life operates in the same way. The more you struggle, the more resistance you create. The moment you let go, the current of divine power moves on your behalf. You have been conditioned to believe that effort is required to attain what you want, that you must push, strive, and fight for every blessing. But this is not the way of divine creation. Every true manifestation begins with a state of ease. It is not the frantic striving that brings results. It is the quiet knowing. The moment you release control, you create space for God to move. Imagine someone grasping tightly onto a rope, pulling with all their might, determined to move an immovable weight. Their muscles strain, their breath shortens, but no progress is made. Then, exhausted, they finally let go. And in that instant, the weight is lifted, carried away by forces greater than their own. This is the paradox of surrender. What you let go of, you allow to be transformed. Perhaps you are facing a situation that seems immovable. You have tried everything: effort, persistence, reasoning, strategy, but nothing has changed. That is because you are trying to alter the effect rather than the cause. The cause is always within. If you continue to believe that struggle is necessary, life will provide you with endless struggles. If you assume that ease is your natural state, then solutions will arise effortlessly. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means ceasing to resist the natural flow of divine order. It means understanding that what is meant for you cannot be lost, and what is not meant for you cannot be forced. It is stepping back and allowing God to unfold things in perfect timing. The unseen hand of God is always at work, but you must create space for it to move. If you are constantly grasping, controlling, or worrying, you are filling that space with noise, blocking the very blessings you seek. But the moment you release the need to figure everything out, the path becomes clear, the opportunities appear, the answers arrive not through struggle, but through alignment. Consider the seasons. The trees do not force their leaves to grow. They do not strain to produce fruit. They simply exist in alignment with divine order, and in due time everything unfolds as it should. Nature does not wrestle with itself, yet it produces endless abundance. You too are part of this divine rhythm. The same power that moves the tides, that causes the sun to rise without effort, is the same power guiding your life, but you must allow it. Look at the areas of your life where you are pushing, striving, or forcing. Are you trying to make someone love you? Are you struggling to control circumstances that are beyond your reach? Are you anxious over outcomes that have not yet materialized? Recognize that this is resistance, and resistance only creates stagnation. The moment you step back, breathe, and trust, you open the door for transformation. Some of the greatest breakthroughs happen in moments of surrender. It is when you release your grip that what you desire flows effortlessly into your life. The job you wanted, the relationship you longed for, the solution you searched for, all of these things are waiting for the moment you stop wrestling with them. This is the secret known by those who walk in divine favor. They do not chase, they do not force, they do not beg. They assume that what is meant for them will come, and so it does. They rest in the certainty that all things are being arranged for their highest good. And because they do not resist, their blessings arrive with ease. Let go. Trust. Know that God is working even when you cannot see it. The unseen hand moves in ways beyond your comprehension, arranging people, circumstances, and opportunities in perfect alignment. Your only task is to stop resisting, stop striving, and allow the divine flow to carry you. You do not have to force what is already yours. Release your grip on circumstances and watch as life begins to unfold in ways you never imagined. The moment you stop wrestling is the moment everything falls into place. The very act of chasing implies that what you seek is separate from you. It suggests distance, a gap between where you are and where your desire resides. But what if that gap is only an illusion? What if everything you long for is already yours, waiting for you to recognize it, waiting for you to align with the reality where it already exists? The world you see with your physical eyes is not the source of your reality. It is merely a reflection of what you accept as true in your inner world. If you continue to believe that your desire is far away, that it requires effort, struggle, or external permission to manifest, then that is precisely the reality you will experience. The more you chase, the more you affirm that it is not yet yours. But the moment you accept, in the depths of your being, that it is already done, the world must rearrange itself to reflect that truth. Everything in creation exists first in the unseen before it appears in the seen. The seed must be planted in the soil before the tree can rise toward the sky. The foundation must be laid before the structure takes form. Likewise, your desires must first be accepted as reality in your imagination before they can materialize in the physical world. This is not wishful thinking. It is the law of creation. You were never meant to chase. You were meant to receive. But receiving requires alignment, and alignment requires certainty. If you wish for something, you are acknowledging its absence. If you hope for something, you are admitting doubt. But when you know something is already yours, you carry yourself differently. You no longer seek proof, for you are the proof. You no longer look for signs, for your belief is the only sign you need. Imagine for a moment that you have already received the very thing you desire. How would you feel? How would you walk, talk, and move through the world? Would there be anxiety, doubt, or impatience? No, you would rest in the certainty that it is already accomplished. That feeling, that deep, unwavering knowing, is the key to bringing your desire into form. It is not the one who begs that receives, nor the one who pleads, but the one who assumes. When you assume that something is already yours, you act in accordance with that assumption. And because the outer world must reflect the inner state, your assumption becomes fact. Look at your life right now. Everything in it is a reflection of what you have accepted as true. whether consciously or unconsciously. The relationships you experience, the opportunities that come your way, the way people treat you, all of it is a mirror of what you have assumed about yourself and the world. If you want to change the reflection, you must first change what you accept within. You do not need to struggle to obtain what is already yours. You do not need to convince anyone, prove anything, or exhaust yourself with effort. The universe is not moved by desperation. It responds to certainty. When you truly know that something is yours, you move differently. There is no anxiety, no grasping, no fear of loss. You do not chase because you already possess. Think of a person who exudes confidence, not arrogance, but quiet assurance. They do not need to demand respect, for their very presence commands it. They do not seek approval, for they already know their worth. This is the posture you must take with your desires. They are already yours. Walk as though it is so. Speak as though it is done. Think from the end, not toward it. This is not about pretending or forcing yourself to believe something you do not feel. It is about shifting your awareness, stepping into the reality where your desire already exists. Every possibility is already created. Every outcome already exists. The question is not whether it is possible, but whether you will align with it. If you plant a seed in fertile soil, do you dig it up every day to see if it is growing? No. You trust that beneath the surface the process is unfolding. You water it, nurture it, and allow it to take root. The same principle applies to your desires. Once you have assumed them as reality, your only task is to persist in that assumption, to dwell in the feeling of its fulfillment, knowing that it must appear in due time. Doubt is what delays, fear is what obstructs, and impatience is what uproots the very thing you seek to manifest. If you continuously look to the outer world for confirmation, you are placing your faith in appearances rather than in the unseen forces that bring things to life. The moment you stop looking for evidence and start knowing that it is already done, the evidence will appear. Do not allow circumstances to dictate what you believe. Circumstances are simply echoes of past assumptions, remnants of what you previously accepted as true. They hold no real power except the power you give them. The only thing that matters is what you claim is true now. There is no need to strive, no need to beg. Your only task is to receive. But to receive, you must first accept. You must see yourself as already possessing what you seek. You must move, speak, and think as the one who already has it. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is stepping into the version of yourself that has already received. And when you do this, the world has no choice but to conform. Your desire is already written. It has already been prepared for you. Stop searching outside yourself and turn inward. Assume that it is already so, and you will see the world shift to match that assumption. The door is already open. Walk through it with confidence, knowing that what is yours can never be lost. Everything you desire is already within your reach, not because you must chase it, but because it has already been prepared for you. The only thing that separates you from it is the illusion of distance, the false belief that you must struggle, beg, or prove yourself worthy. But the truth is simple. What you assume to be true in your heart must manifest in your world. Faith is the bridge between the seen and the unseen. Resting is an act of trust. The unseen forces are always at work, aligning things in ways you cannot yet perceive. Wrestling with circumstances only blocks the flow of divine power. But when you surrender and assume that your desire is already yours, you make space for it to appear effortlessly. Stop searching outside yourself. The answer is not in the world, but within you. Walk with the certainty that it is done. Speak as if it is already accomplished. Move through life as the one who has already received. And when you do, the world must reflect that truth back to you. Thank you for allowing these words to reach you. May they serve as a reminder that you are never without, never separate, and never lacking. Everything is unfolding in your favor. Rest, trust, and receive.